As more and more Chinese students study in Canada, most of them are suffering difficulties with homesickness, language barrier, and culture shock. Today, I interviewed with Edie, a graduate student from Queens. Related with her undergraduate installation, The Stone Soup, she talked about cultural memories and identity as living within the context of Canadian society.
That is a huge collection, and I think there's a lot more to say about language. After I arrived in Canada, I started to say a lot of likes when doing conversations. Sometimes it can be a little tedious when you say too many likes, so I found that really difficult, literally Yeah,
I understand. And as we know, you had a very successful visual installation exhibition named The Stone Soup last year, and one of the topics of the exhibition was about identity. What did you want to say about your identity, and in what ways did you explain about that?
I think I'm really fond of a visual metaphor I used in that installation, which is a pair of hotel slippers at the starting point of that hopscotch. And I think it kind of explains something that I wasn't able to articulate. Like, you're inserting yourself in Canada, in a Western community, but you're more like a tourist or more like a guest. Although you're being welcomed, and sometimes people are like being extra nice to you, but you still feel like you're not. This is not your place. You're just visiting as an outsider, that type of thing. I think my installation, The Stone Soup, itself is this collage of all the memories from my childhood. That's why I specifically recreate a scene. It's like a family reminiscent thing when I was playing with my grannies, my nai-nai's silicone.
And how did you mingle with Chinese cultural background and memories in a Canadian context, and in what ways it influenced your work and life?
I think having the privilege to come from another country and also have the privilege to place yourself in a different cultural context and being able to see your surroundings, the world, in a more complex way. I think that is a privilege. And for me, the mingling happens both spontaneously and unconsciously.
What are the motivations that drive you to express these feelings and experiences?
The motivation for me to communicate my feelings is that I've never communicated about it before. The story was my childhood experience living with my nai-nai and seeing how my great-grandmother got Alzheimer's disease and how the whole family kind of suffered together.
How did you come up with this idea of using visual installation exhibition as a specific medium to express your thoughts?
I used installation because it allowed me to tell that story in another calibrated way, other than just rephrasing my words and thinking the right thing to say.
Why not shooting a film?
I like how installation has a very innate collage nature. And for me, I identify with the stone soup, and I also identify with the stone in the stone soup. It's like stuff floating around, and you just try to decode it in any way possible.